Here we are, the conclusion of this series. Now that we know that the murderer is crusty Kaecilius, the real question is how is the gang gonna manage to take on him, the remaining warlords, the three mothers, and the child? Let's crack the spine to find out. Chapter 11, Physician, Heal Thyself. As Blue Cape and Kaecilius begin their showdown, the warlords discover the presence of the mothers and the child outside. Agamon tries to flee, but is blocked from doing so by a powerful binding spell being maintained by Wong and a litany of Strange's allies. It's revealed that Kaecilius has many magical wards and protections in place. He cannot be harmed by physical, mental, or spiritual attacks. So when Strange casts a single, seemingly simple spell, Kaecilius laughs it off. Why wouldn't he? As far as he's concerned, he's gone from insignificant to invulnerable. Blue Cape knows Kaecilius and just what kind of coward he really is. He knew that he would have such protections in place. But what's sad is that with all the additional time this version of Kaecilius has had with Strange, he's forgotten the most important part about him. He's a doctor. Blue Cape casts a healing spell, a spell of regeneration, in attempts to revive the original Strange, since his soul still remained and so did a part of him, his hands, which were now bound to Kaecilius. By doing this, Kaecilius begins to change from the wrists up, changing from the man that he was to the man that he murdered. This process will negate Kaecilius' existence in the stead of Strange. And he screams out that this is inhumane, to which Blue Cape reminds him that he is the master of black magic and when it is necessary, he can be inhumane. And perhaps, in time, he will learn mercy and compassion to aid his bedside manner. But that kinder version of himself was murdered, and Kaecilius will pay the price. Zounds! There we have it, folks, the return of Stephen Strange. Though this is far from resolved, they still have a war to wage against the mothers outside. Chapter 12, The Battle of Antarctica. Outside of the palace walls, the trap was sprung. The Avengers and the X-Men lock the three mothers in battle. We see our older Stephen donning the cloak of levitation, deep in thought about his younger self. He doesn't recall being so cold, so calculating. But he was, for sure. Even the MCU version of Strange sacrificed half the universe. But I appreciate that he sees change. Blue Cape lays out the plan and knows that since he has fulfilled his purpose in solving Strange's murder, that he will not survive the battle, and plans to use himself as some kind of final strike. Earth's mightiest are doing their best to hold the mothers at bay, and that's about all they can do. They lay out everything they've got just to keep the mothers from advancing. Then, in the sky above the battle, they see the revived Sorcerer Supreme of Earth beaming with energy, connecting himself to the Sorcerer Supremes of the Purple Dimension, the Dark Dimension, the Sixth Dimension, and Limbo. The five of them band together to banish the three mothers, a combined effort that they cannot withstand. They call out to the child to aid them, to come to its mother's rescue, and with a terrifying glee, it agrees. It uses its powers to push back against the five Supremes, allowing the mothers a chance to continue their assault. But Blue Cape comes soaring in above the battle and straight for the child. He gives Red Cape a few final words of advice and charges their enemy, but the Peregrine child halts his attempts and then consumes Blue Cape and all of his magical energies. But that was part of the plan. You see, Blue Cape didn't attack in his physical body. No, he was in his astral form. So when the child siphoned his essence, it took him whole. So now inside the beast, he could feel the vast, volatile magic within the child. It would only take a single spark. Red Cape and friends are holding strong and ready to banish the three mothers and the child to the far reaches of the universe. Once separated by dimensions, the mothers would be stranded without their child there to aid them. Right at the perfect moment, the Peregrine child explodes from within as they are banished from the earth. Chapter 13, The Death of Doctor Strange. In the aftermath of the battle, Clea and Stephen find each other, and he reveals to her what his younger self had said to him. That he was a fool for letting Clea go, for not finding some way to hold on to her, and now that he's been given another chance, he must vow to do so. Clea wants nothing more than to be with Stephen, to have him as her own, not just in her heart, but physically there next to her. And it seems for a moment that they might just get their wish, their happy ending. But Redcape is older, wiser, more experienced in the ways of magic and the balance of nature than his cool-colored counterpart. Death will come for what's hers. She will not be cheated, even by the Sorcerer Supreme. He begins to fade. As Clea is clinging to him, refusing to let him go, he tells her how he feels, how he will always be with her, but as the only one that he could trust. He must ask of her a great burden. If you thought that Strange would return to his role by the end of this series, then technically you were correct. And if you thought that he would stay dead and that there would be a new Sorcerer Supreme, then technically you would also be correct. And the few of us that thought that Clea would take the cape, well, looks like we too were correct. Man, you gotta love Jed MacKay's story writing for just this reason. All expectations met, a little subversion, but I don't feel like the rug was pulled out from under my feet. Mainly because this is far from the end of the story. The end of the miniseries, yes. But MacKay and Ferreira, the writer-artist duo from my favorite tie-in during this series, Spider-Man, will be continuing this story under the title Strange, Volume 3. The first volume of Strange was published in 2004 under the Marvel Knights imprint. Similar to DC's Vertigo, Marvel Knights was a place for Marvel to publish darker and more mature themes. It was a 6-issue limited series, and then in 2010, Marvel main brand published a 4-issue miniseries simply titled Strange. And now in 2022, set for a March release, Strange Volume 3 is booked as an ongoing, not a limited series, meaning that Jed was probably given about 10 to 12 issues to tell an arc or two and see how it sells. And then depending, they will renew the title for more issues into the 20s, and then again into the 30s, and so on as long as it sells. I, for one, am definitely interested in seeing Clea take the spotlight and see her balance the two offices that she now holds, as well as her quest to battle death herself to return her love. And if that's a journey that you want to share together, let me know below. And while you're at it, let me know what you thought of the death of Doctor Strange. Until next time.